The amic-trochaic law states that when one plays alternating sounds that differ in duration, English listeners tend to hear a sequence of iambs. The same is true in speech. When one alternates sounds differing in intensity, English listeners typically hear a sequence of trochees. Again, the same is true in speech. The ITL is not universal. Earlier proposals attributed cross-linguistic differences to how languages vary in grouping or prominence. These studies, however, didn't tease apart these two dimensions. They used a binary forced-choice task. However, there are at least 4 different relevant outcomes depending on prominence and grouping, not 2. For the speech sequence, you may have heard baga, baga, gaba, or gaba. Once we look at the sequences as structured along the orthogonal dimensions of prominence and grouping, the ITL emerges given the Q distribution in English. Stressed and final syllables are longer, so when every other syllable is sufficiently long, it will be perceived as stressed and final, resulting in the percept of iambs. Stressed and initial syllables are louder, so when every other syllable is sufficiently loud, it will be perceived as stressed and initial, resulting in the percept of trochees. No reference to iambs or trochees is necessary to explain the ITL. This study looks at the typology of rhythm based on the cues for prominence and grouping. Experiments used stimuli crossing intensity and duration manipulations and consisted of 2 binary forced-choice tasks, one about prominence, was ba or ga prominent, and one about grouping, itia baga or gaba. Below is a map based on the effect sizes of duration and intensity for the 2 decisions. When looking at the results for prominence, we see that the effect of duration varies relatively little, while the effect of intensity on prominence varies a lot by language. When looking at grouping, the effect of duration on the grouping decision varies a lot by language, while the effect of intensity varies less and is always above a certain threshold. This could explain how we bootstrap into the signal when first exposed to language. Duration gives a relatively robust cue for prominence and intensity for grouping. Grouping and prominence capture an essential part of what we intuitively perceive as rhythm. Our proposed rhythm typology based on prominence and grouping cues might better capture intuitive rhythm differences than the so-called stress-time, syllable-time dichotomy, or more recent gradient acoustic measures aimed at capturing it. We are currently exploring whether our perception maps mirror the cue distribution in production in these languages.